Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Wednesday afternoon call. This is August 21st. We're really moving through the year fast. A lot of people are getting ready for Christmas already, so get your holiday um, sales and advertising ready because it's coming up fast. This is a time to start promoting it. But today, I was informed a while back that a lot of people still need education and training on the Google Calendar. And so, what I'm going to do today is the best I can to present the Google Calendar to you in a logical manner. And hopefully, we will all be able to understand it a lot better. If not, we can always come back and increase it with more knowledge and get maybe somebody else's viewpoint. But hopefully today you'll get enough to really feel more comfortable with it. So, especially, for the new folks that are here too, this is something that we say in the beginning that we're going to set you up with your links and then Google Calendar too, so we can all communicate together. And it's always good to know exactly how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I did a PowerPoint. Now today is being recorded and the PowerPoint that I have, I'll also give you the link afterwards. So after we're through and the recording has been updated, I'll put it in the WhatsApp groups so that you can get it from there. Okay. And you can use it anytime you want. Hopefully it'll be a good guide for you. So here we go, and I'll share my screen. And with sound, I suppose, is always good. I got to always remember to do that, whether I use it or not. But I will be using it today. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Using Google Calendar. Now, to start off, what I'm going to do is have this short video that I want to play for you. It's only, about it's very short, but hopefully you can see the screen. That's if it works. It should work.
The Google Calendar main menu occupies the left side of the window. Select the main menu icon to collapse and expand it. The Create button opens an event creation window with the current time and date. Add a title, set a date and time, and select Save to quickly add an event. We'll cover creating events in more detail shortly. Directly below the Create button is the mini calendar. Use the mini calendar to quickly select a month and date to view on your calendar. Today's date will be highlighted by a blue circle on the mini calendar. To quickly create an event with guests, use the Search for People box to type the name or email address of people to invite and press Enter to open an event's detail window. There are two lists of calendars, My Calendars and Other Calendars. The My Calendars list contains your primary calendar and calendars you create. It will also contain any calendars that have been shared with you if you've been given permission to make changes and manage sharing for that calendar. Your primary calendar is your default calendar, where you will create your events, and it's also the calendar that displays events you've been invited to. The Other Calendars list contains calendars that you may have subscribed to or calendars that have been shared with you and you do not own. This may be colleagues' calendars, holiday calendars, sports calendars, and public calendars on the internet. Along the top of the Google Calendar window, the Today button will return you to the current date view of your calendar from wherever you're viewing, in the past or future. The arrows will move you to the previous or next week view of your calendar. Select Search to find events by keywords, participants or organizers, locations or rooms, or date range. The Support button has links to documentation and training on Google Calendar. The Settings menu button has links to Google Calendar settings, trash for deleted events, density and color options, and print preview. Your organization may also allow the installation of Google Calendar add-ons, which give it additional features and capabilities. Explore the add-ons in the Google Workspace Marketplace by selecting Get Add-ons. Select View to switch views of your calendar. The button will display the name of the view that is currently selected. By default, it will be the week view, but you can easily switch to day, month, year, schedule, and custom day range views. There are also options to display weekends and declined events. Both of these are enabled by default.
Here it goes, short and sweet. Okay, so let's go over this slowly now that gave you like a summarization. Now, let's start from the very beginning. As soon as you come in, you're brand new. This is how you get your calendar set up. There are different ways to open Google Calendar. First of all, you can open your browser and then visit this link, calendar.google.com, or in your Gmail account. And remember, when you first sign up, you have your own Gmail, a business Gmail account. So everything is going to be done from your Gmail business account. So from there, you go to the top right and click on the 9 dots, making a square, make a square, and locate Google Calendar. Let's see what that looks like. So this is at the top right, excuse me, of your Gmail account. Okay. Now, when that opens up, you have all these icons that you can, bring up. You got your Gmails and you have YouTubes and everything if you ever want to go, and then My Drive too. But down here, what you want to do is you want to locate calendar. There you go, right there. So you click on that, and then you get to your calendar that comes up. Now, when you're in your calendar, you can do different things with it. Excuse me. You can schedule events. You can will give you event details. You can put in the details of the events, and you can add descriptions, attachments, and the Google Drive integration back and forth, calendar and event visibility and notifications. Now I'm going to go over this for you so you can understand what this means. So first of all, you can create a new event within Google Calendar by either selecting Create or by selecting an empty time slot on the Google Calendar grid. So Event or an empty slot. In the event window, you can select Add Title and type a title for your event. So up the top where it says Add Title, that's where you can put your title in. Now you use that when you're have a BRT to set up, or you want to remember that next Tuesday, September 3rd is the Founders Call, and you can put it in there. Okay. Once you just look at it so you get acclimated to it. So the next step is to select a date, a start time, and an end time. And I actually find it easier to go to the more options on the bottom. And to fill that out, so you can see the bottom of the previous slide for that. Now, over here, you see the top arrow is showing all day, or you can put the time in there. This is showing August 4th, 3:00 p.m. to 4 p.m. And this is Eastern Standard Time. And from what I understand, when you're working with other people and you set up a time and you send them a notification, it shows up on their time zone. We're in the Eastern time zone, and it shows up if they're in the Central or Mountain or Pacific time zone, the equivalent to it. Or if there isn't anything here that you can use, like daily or weekly, monthly, whatever, you can click on custom, as you can see in the bottom arrow facing left. Now, in the event details window, select all day to make your event start at 12 a.m. on the start date and ends at 11:59 p.m. on the end date. So if none of those options are appropriate, choose custom of reoccurrence and set the reoccurrence properties you require. So you see on the bottom left, you have the all day, so you can click on that. By itself, it's from noon to midnight. Or on the right, you have the custom occurrence, and you can put in repeats every 1 week, or repeats every 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, repeats on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And if it's ongoing, like our weekly meetings, that would be weekly, and, it never ends. So then you'd click never end. Okay. Now, to invite a guest who is outside of your organization and not in your personal contacts, type their email address in. Now, you have a lot of times you have to do it that way. Let's say you're trying to get maybe invite somebody to one of the meetings. They're not part of the organization yet, and you want to bring them in. So they're not set up as a lead or anything. So all you have to do is put in their email address. Once you put in their email address, if you look below, you can check how you want to do that, what permissions you want to give them. So you can say invite others or see guest lists. You never really want to check the first one, modify events, because that's a no-no. You don't want them to change what you have going on. So by default, guests cannot modify the event details, but can invite other guests and see the guest list. You see below by the arrow. So you select the guest permission options that are appropriate for your particular event. So this will change all the time. 99% of the time, I haven't seen any reason to change anything there. Just kept the invite others and see guest lists. But, there's always exceptions to the rule. And you can always change your default guest permissions on your own calendar settings. There's things that you can do that the guests can't do and you don't want them to do. If your calendar isn't shared with anyone, in particular, changing the event visibility won't enable anyone to see the event details. That's being done on your side. If you change your own event visibility, they won't see the difference. So the event visibility, as you can see, is all in the same area with your event setup and title and everything. And on the bottom underneath your name, you click the default visibility button, you see default visibility. Underneath that, it says public, and underneath that says private. Just leave it by default visibility. That'd be your best bet. However, if you shared your calendar with a specific person, they'll be able to see the event details based on the level of access you've assigned them. And here's the different levels of access. See over on the left, you see it's the event visibility setting. it's set to it's set to default visibility. Now, what does that mean? So default visibility, you can see in the first column here on the left says see only, free or busy. Then under that, for the default, it says events show as busy. Now, see all event details for the person that in the default setting, when you set it to see all event details, anyone you shared your calendar with can see all the event details. You have to just sit back and look at that and think of what it's saying so you can understand it. In the default setting up here, you can say make changes to events and manage sharing. That means that anyone you've shared your calendar with can see and change all details. There's times when you're working with your own students that you can do this, when it comes to setting up a BRT and so forth. There's reasons for this, but that's for people that you already know. Now, when it comes to the public, you see over on the left underneath default visibility, it says public. If you choose public, now what it shows in the first, it'll say anyone you've shared your calendar with can see all event details. So when it's set to public, anyone you've shared your calendar with can see all event details. Also, anyone you shared your calendar with can see all event details when you choose see all event details. And then on the left, where it says make changes to events and manage sharing, anyone you shared your calendar with can see and change all event details. Hopefully this is making sense to you. You probably have to read it 2 or 3 times. Now on the left side, when you hit the private visibility, what people will see is events show as busy. Then it'll say under see all event details, if it's set to private, events will show busy. So what you're saying, what they're saying here is they won't be able to see anything if it's private. Only if you set it up with make changes to events and manage sharing, then anyone you have shared your calendar with can see and change all event details. You see? So this is something you probably want to go over and just keep rehashing it so you can understand clearly what's happening there. Now, you can also add notifications to ensure that you won't miss an important event. So over here, you have your details or your event title and everything already set up. Now, the notifications are right underneath that. And the first one says email, and the email says 1 hour. That means 1 hour before the event. You want to be notified. And what the Google will do is send you an email to remind an hour earlier before the event to remind you of that event. Then you have the notification. So on your telephone or wherever, you can get notified. And here it says 2 hours. Now you have an up and down arrow that you can change it to whatever you want, Now, Perhaps it's important, so you want to be notified maybe a week ahead of time to prepare something for it. Where on the bottom here, on bottom left says add notification. Well, you can click that and also add another a notification to it for maybe a week earlier. Okay. You have the options once you click the down arrow. Remember, the notifications you set on any event are for your purpose only. That's to remind you personally, the organizer, and each attendee can set their own notifications. So what they do is up to them, but this is for your own purpose. Let's say you're the trainer, you're the instructor, and you want to get with a person, a student, maybe next week on Tuesday at 2 o'clock p.m. You can set the notification for yourself. It's up to them to set their own notifications the same way, you know. Now, when you finish configuring your event, just select Save to add it to the calendar. Now, after you click Save, if your event has guests, and Roy suggests, especially for all the instructors, to put all your students in there underneath where it says to add guests. You can choose whether to send them an email invitation. So you click Save, and before it disappears or gets set onto the calendar, this message will show up. Would you like to send invitation emails to Google Calendar guests? Now, you have the option of saying back to editing, don't send, or send. So if you hit send, after you hit send, it'll send them the notification right then and there. Now, sometimes, and I've done it a lot because I've just changed maybe the color of uh, my theme, and to save it, I have to click save, and then it'll come up again. Do you want to send that? Well, no, that's just for me. So I click don't send. So there's reasons why you can keep the event, but make minor changes, like maybe putting in, well, sometimes when I'm setting up a BRT, and if you want them to see it also, I just put their name up on the top and I say, call with Tom. And then I send it, and that's what they see. After I send it, then I go back to it and I take off, I can leave the call with Tom, or I change it to full BRT for my purpose. And then I may write something in the description. So after I do that, remember it's only for my own purpose, then I click save, and this message comes up, and then I hit don't send. So that way it's just for you. They've got their version of it, and this is your version of it, you know? Hopefully that's clear to you. So guests who don't use Google Calendar, you're saying you got people with Yahoo email accounts, and they're not all part of this yet. What do they see? Well, they'll always get an email notification anyway to wherever whatever email they have. So guests who use Google Calendar may have notifications disabled. Maybe they didn't know it was disabled, and being new to Google Calendar, but it was accidentally disabled for their calendar, and they won't get an invitation email from you when you click that send, even if you choose to send one, but the event will still be added to their calendar. So the notifications won't come up telling them about it, but it'll be there. If they look, they can see it. So that compensates for that. So this right here covers everything that a lot of people ask. Well, what if they don't have a calendar? Well, they'll get an email notification. Well, what if they have a calendar and the notifications are disabled? Well, it'll be put on their calendar anyway. Okay. Now, to discard an event, you're doing it up and everything before saving it, where it then is put on your calendar for the first time. You can select cancel event, but creation in the upper left hand window of the event details window. So it doesn't say cancel event. What it has is just this X here next to the title. So if you're doing it and you say, oh, baloney, I don't want to send that. What do I do? Just go to the X and it'll just take you right back to the calendar. So that's how you actually, delete something that you put in for an event. Let's say you're at a meeting and let's say Rory said, oh, the date is like the Tuesday instead of Monday for the founders call. And you were going to send this out, originally from Monday. Well, before you do that, then you can just hit X and you don't have to worry about it. It's already taken out. See, it's forgiving. Now, sharing a calendar. Google Calendar makes it easy for coworkers to schedule time with you. This is important when setting up a three-way call, when doing V-marketing or for special meetings, for example. You have your instructor, you have your students, and maybe you'll have somebody else that a new person that they're trying to contact through V-marketing with a BRT, and they want you on with them. You can schedule it this way. What you do is you open the calendar that you will be using for your business. And it's always of course, your business calendar. If you only have one that you're using for everything, it wouldn't matter too much. But remember, you have a business email. So you really would like to have a business calendar. And as you saw in the beginning, you can have multiple calendars. So number one, open the calendar that you'll be using for your business. Number two, you choose who to share with from your calendar settings page. You choose to share with from your calendar page. In the access, permission, and share with specific people settings. What does that mean? Well, this is your settings icon in the top right-hand corner of your calendar. You see that little, usually people know what the cogwheel means in your telephone and on your computer, laptop, everything. The cogwheel is always your settings symbol. So you can set your settings from the settings icon on the top right hand of your calendar. When you click that, this is what opens up. The settings, this is what it looks like. And you can do it anytime you want to get yourself acclimated to what shows up. This is my calendar and it's for my business. So I named it Tom Debartolo Business. Okay, over on the left-hand side, you can see the settings for my calendars. I have Tom Debartolo Business highlighted. My personal calendar is Tom Debartolo, you see in red. And then there's birthdays and the calendar settings are below that. So over on the right-hand side, you notice I put a little description in of what my business calendar is for. And underneath that, the time zone. Usually it's already set, but you want to make sure, you definitely want to do this first to make sure that it's set up to your time zone. I'm in Eastern time. If you are in Texas, you have Central time, and California would be Pacific time, and then the Mountain time. So drop down and make sure you click the specific one for you. Sometimes the Easterns can get confusing and they say Canada, Eastern time, Canada. This is Eastern time, New York. That's what Eastern time is represented by for us. Oops. Now, Underneath that, it says auto accept invitations. Now you can do different things. There's 3 different things you can do. When you click that, the first one says auto accept invitation that do not conflict, or automatically add all invitations to this calendar, or do not show invitations. You can do whatever you want there. I've got mine set to automatically add all invitations to this calendar. So that would probably, in my opinion, be the best choice to use. So after you've done that, then you click on your business calendar name, like I showed you, and you can share broadly with users across your organization. And you can share with specific people. So if you're in a group, like Donna has this group and with a few hundred people, she can share with it with all of us, and or you can share with specific people, you know. Now you choose who to share with from your calendar settings page that we were just on into the access permission and share with specific people setting. Okay, I slow up so you can let this sink in. For example, you can share see business only, see only, free, or busy with anyone in your organization. This allows others to find a free time slot in your calendar. So we're talking about your personal calendar now, and you're sharing it with other people. So when they click on it, they'll have the opportunity to see what times that you have available in case they want to set up a 3-way for a BRT, let's say. Yes. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Make available to the public is checked. Click the down arrow on see all event details and click on see only, free, busy, and hide the details, or see all event details. So it all depends on what exactly your event is going to be about. Okay. And share with specific people or groups. You see underneath that. And you can add people and groups. So you can share event details with specific people in your organization. Now, you still have the download button and you see all events. Again, here you have 4 options: the see only, free, busy, the see all event details, make changes to events, and make changes and manage sharing. This is what you're giving the permissions for the people that you are inviting. Now, what you do is you can use the email address to subscribe to someone else's calendar too. Ask to subscribe to a calendar. So the first thing you need to do is ask them. So what you do is on your computer, you open Google Calendar, which is obvious, right? On the left-hand side, next to other calendars, click add subscribe to calendar. If the calendar has been shared with you, you'll get an email. So let's do this again. You can use an email address to subscribe to someone else's calendar. You open your calendar. On the left-hand side says other calendars. Then click add subscribe to calendar. If the calendar has been shared with you, you'll get an email. So if they acknowledge it, you'll get an email. So this is what it looks like. You open your computer, you open your Google Calendar. On the left-hand side, underneath where it says My Calendars, you say the first one is your personal calendar, then birthdays or whatever things you've selected to have there. This is my business calendar. So I clicked on my business calendar because that's what we're working on is our business. I unclicked my personal one because if you click your personal one and your business one, both will show up on your calendar and it starts getting muddy after that. So just click on the only one that you're going to be using, which is your business calendar. Unclick your personal calendar and anything else that's up there. Okay, so you click on other calendars and you click on that plus sign, right? This is what'll come up. This sign will come up. What do you want to do? Do you want to subscribe to a calendar? Do you want to create a new calendar? Do you want to browse calendars of interest? You know, it could be anything, not even job related, from URL or import. Obviously, this is internal for us, so we want to subscribe to one of our partners' calendars. So this is what you click on. Now, in the Add Calendar box, enter the person's email address right here where it says Add Calendar, or select one from the list if there's multiple ones that you have already in your group and press Enter. Depending on whether their calendar is shared, one of the following things happen. If the calendar isn't shared with you, is not shared with you, you'll be prompted to request access. Okay, if the calendar is already shared with you, their calendar will be added on the left side under other calendars. So that's how you know whose calendars you have. As you see Rory from time to time when he gets on, he's got a whole bunch of other people's calendars that he works with. All, you know, basically his instructors, MSIs, you know. So he has a whole bunch, and that's how he can tell who he has. And underneath there are the boxes that he can check also. Now, if the other person does not have a Google Calendar, they will be prompted to use Google Calendar. So, depending on whether their calendar is shared with you after you're asking permission, one of the following will happen. If they have a calendar, if the calendar isn't shared with you, you'll be prompted to request access again. Then you repeat it. If the calendar is already shared with you, their calendar will then pop up in the added section on the bottom left side of your calendar under other calendars. And if the other person doesn't have a calendar at all, they'll be prompted to set up one. So then after they set it up, they can do the same thing and access you and for sharing calendars. They can request from you. So in a nutshell, that's how to use Google Calendar for your own purpose and for sharing with others. Now, what you want to do probably is just keep this and go over it so you can thoroughly understand it while you're playing with it. Okie dokie. So any questions on that? Again, it's a learning process, just like everything else we have. And hopefully you're able to get information that you didn't have before. And let's see. Francis, did that help you out, Francis? Francis Bibbs.
And
Sorry,
unmute.
couldn't get my I couldn't get my unmute. Yes, it did. Um, I had one question for you. So you said you have a personal calendar and a business calendar. When you put items on your personal calendar, is there a way for them to show up as, busy um on your business calendar, or they are
You
always
have to do
separate?
them separate. Everything is
Have to
separate,
do
just
okay.
a whole
Okay.
new entity, you know?
Okay. Okay.
So a lot of things you put on your personal calendar that is business related, but
Mm-hmm.
that's just for you. When you are working in your business calendar, you can put the same thing in your business calendar, but in your business calendar, then the other people that you gave access to can see that only. So,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
you may have personal things also on your personal calendar, like doctor's appointments or
Mm-hmm.
things like that, that you don't want your student or partners to see.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But on the same day, you may have some business information. So what you do is just take that business part and put it on your business calendar.
Okay. So you got to maintain two separate calendars.
Yeah.
Got
That
it.
makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, it does. That was it. That was my
Mm,
question.
super duper. Anything else that you were confused about that was cleared up with you today, or you still have a question? I don't know all the
Uh,
answers, so that's why I have other people that can help me here.
no, you went through, when we have something on the Google Calendar and then it changes, like the founders call for September. So, thank you for showing me that. I just haven't done it, so I actually have to just sit down and do it. It
Hmm.
just sounds like it's more detailed than it is. And,
Yeah,
one other question. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna stop my recording now in order to
Okay.
take the questions, and then you know, we'll be able to see the video up to this point. I want to appreciate everybody for coming.